Hi, thanks so much for joining me on the Everything and Anything and a Bit Gay podcast. I have a guest that I have actually met before in a previous podcast. Loved her so much, I asked her to come on this podcast for these listeners. It's Dr. Marissa, who is known as the Asian Oprah. So I could go on for half of the show and tell you all of her stuff, but I'm going to give you a little bit of background about her. She is the host and producer of a 12-year award-winning talk show called Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It. She has a #1, not just on Amazon, but national best-selling book called 8 Ways to Happiness from Wherever You Are. Again, I could go on and on. She's a huge accomplishment, and we're going to go through some of them, but welcome back to my show.
Thank you. It's so good to be back here too. I love follow-ups.
Yeah. So I have a show called The Alphabet Mafia where I do it with Slam, and we do co-host. And we left that interview with Dr. Marissa a few weeks ago, and I think we thought about her for a couple of days because it was such a good interview, and we just loved you. Your energy is so amazing.
Well, don't like set up the expectation now that I can't even.
So tell me, so you started off in organizational psychology.
Yes, that's what the PhD was.
And then you got into doing talk shows and red carpets. Let's talk about the talk show.
Okay.
That's an amazing accomplishment. 12 years of an award-winning talk show. Tell me about that. How did that happen?
Well, first of all, it's actually 13 years now. I need to update that number wherever you got that from. And it's just been amazing considering they said it would not last more than a year because...
Really?
Yes, because I do not talk about the headlines at all. Whatever everybody else is talking about, I do not talk about them because I guarantee you 100% now. I used to say most of the time, I will say 100% of the time, if it bleeds, it leads. The shock and awe, the political rhetoric, the angry, whatever it is. And Lord knows we've got a lot of fuel today. That's what people are talking about. And every time you talk about it, you either get worried, afraid, or piss offedness. And all three are not good for your body, mind, or soul. So I said, I'm going to do a show about hope and happiness. And we're not going to have gossip. We're not going to have scandal. And we're not going to have K words. No Kardashian talk at all.
Okay, good.
All right. So, or P. Diddy, whoever's
in the news at the moment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's called, I woke up one morning at 4:30 in the morning. I'm not religious. I'm allergic to religion, but I am spiritual. And so I have a voice sometimes. I call him my UPS man, my universal power source. He delivers every morning when I meditate. And that voice woke me up at 4:30 in the morning and said, radio. And I went, first of all, it's 4:30. Can we talk about this at another time? And radio. And I went, why would I want to do radio? I'm doing TV right now. I like doing TV. They say I'm good on camera. I don't have a face for radio. Why radio? And the voice was so insistent. And I just sat down at the computer, gave up the resistance, and started writing. In 44 minutes, I came up with the title of the show, which is called Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It.
Yeah.
Which people think is hilarious, which is good, especially as a psychologist. And I wrote the format of the show, the guests I'd like to have, the business plan, and that was somewhere in the first quarter of 2012. Okay. May 1st, 2012, I started with Universal Broadcasting Network with Tony Sweet, and I would go to Sunset Gower for a once a week show. And that's how it started. And someone described it as, that feel good story at the end of 1 hour news segment that's like 2 minutes. I stretched that into an hour show, and it's
awesome.
Been on, and I have celebrities on, not to talk about their show. So
Mm.
Fran Drescher did not come on to talk about The Nanny or SAG. She came on twice to talk about her Cancer Schmancer website that has preventative tools and education for cancer, because I love stars who use their limelight to shine it on areas that are temporary darkness. And I will not talk about homelessness unless I have a guest that's doing something like Doors of Change to take homeless youth off of the streets.
Yeah.
So it became this show that had Nellie came back to celebrate my 13 years on House of the Prairie. Allison Arngrim, she was on my show the first year of the show. She was on the show the last year of my show.
I've seen her do stand-up comedy. She's amazing.
Yes, and I just started doing that as well. And she said she's friends with the Laugh Factory. So anytime I'm ready, I get to go. So putting that out there. I just love doing the show during COVID. So I won, I don't know what year it was, top 10, podcast out of 440,000 podcast shows. And that was nice. And then second year, I think I got syndicated on my NBC News Radio channel, KCAA. And the station owner, when COVID started, I was on the biggest, I'm number one talk in the IE because of that station. And I was on best slot, which was Friday drive time, right? In the afternoon once a week. And when COVID started, he called me up and said, how would you like to have the morning show? And I'm like, oh, I would love it. So I started and did not think that once a week is just a tad different than every forking day, Monday through Friday. And I almost killed myself, but I added series that I could have co-hosts on so that they can choose the topic. Now I'm adding series just so I get a word in. Mental Health Mondays Matters is my show, and I don't need to make room for anybody else to talk.
But do you have guests on during that Mental Health Monday, or are you just doing it?
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I do. I had a special series on Mondays for a while where someone who had a particular way to deal with mental health. So yes, I will have guests on Mondays.
Awesome. And kind of coming up with who's be your co-host for that. You have these, guest co-hosts. How do you pick them? And do you have regulars that come back also?
I had a contest called The Voice, right? Okay. And instead of The Voice, I called it The Host. Okay. So that was one thing that I ran maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And, people would go in rotation and it was a lot of fun. But I realized, and here's the business opportunity, that there are a lot of people that want to do podcasts, but they don't know how to start, or they don't have the platform. And and obviously after 1,409 podcast shows, I kind of know what to do. And so instead of getting sponsors, right, which is always a challenge because
it is,
whatever, that, right?
I know that for sure.
I'm sure you know that. So I just thought, well, why don't I have guests and co-hosts who want to invest? It's promo, right? You're promoting your book, you're promoting your product, you're promoting your ideas. So for a very nominal fee of $200.
Wow.
Right? You can do that. And so because I love small business, I love entrepreneurs, I'm a solopreneur. It took me, I didn't even realize until I was asked to speak at CEO Space International as a faculty that I was an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that until
all the stuff you did. You didn't realize. I mean, you have a huge background.
I know. It's silly, but it's true. So I have a soft spot, and I want to make it affordable for people. Either you want to go out on your own, I always tell people, do not quit your day job, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But life is so short. That whole expression, jack of all trades, master of none, is bull. I can swear it, right? Because
Oh, you can say whatever you want on this one.
It's bullshit. I
Yeah.
can't swear on my show because
Yeah.
it's FCC regulations, $20,000 fine. So I don't. And it's live every weekday morning. And I said, okay, this is time. COVID, hashtag COVID silver lining, gave us the understanding that you can do more than one thing in your life. You can change BS belief systems you had about yourself, about work. And so, I have a program called Be the Best That You Can Be and broadcast it, where I also, supplement the becoming a podcaster. You can try it. It is an investment, but at least you tried it and see if you like it. And now I do my show for one person and one person alone, and that's me.
Yeah.
Because no matter how I feel when I wake up, I got to do this show. And when I do this show, I love the way I feel after I do the show. And thanks to Juan, I've realized that something that I haven't given time to is being a guest on people's shows. So I've done 5 in the last month or 2.
And how do you like being on the other side?
I love being on the other side because I can say whatever I want and I can talk as long as I want because that's what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting how you can tell I was a horrible host for the first year that I was on because I came from that place of, who am I to be a host and producer? And so I was nervous. And when you're nervous, you talk and you don't let your guests talk. And so now this, and I won't go back on some of the interviews that I've been on because I have to fight the host for time. And that is the number one mistake that hosts of podcast shows do. If you have a guest on, for God's sakes, let them talk. Am I perfect at that? Absolutely not. I am very shy, as you can tell. I have nothing to say.
Nothing at
all.
And
sarcasm is another service I offer. But just a word to anyone who's doing a podcast, measure the time. Yeah. Look at the file afterwards. I still am guilty about this, which is why I'm super glad to be able to do more of what I'm doing to calm myself down when I do have a guest. Yeah. But so
I learned that the hard way too at the beginning, where I was interrupting the guest and just trying to get more in. I had a list of questions, like I gotta get through all these questions, and I'm realizing if you don't get through it all, it's okay. Like, let's hear what they have to say. And that's, that was a good lesson.
You guys were so great. This is why when Juan said, would you come back? I'm like, absolutely.
Well, thank you. There's a couple of things I wanted to ask you because I did a little more research since our last interview. It's all good. I mean, so first of all, I'm going to say one of the reasons I loved having you as a guest, because you are so inspirational. You are so positive. And I just, like I said, when me and Slam left the other interview, you were on our mind, both of us, for like 2 days. Because you were so positive. And so one of the things that I looked at is on your YouTube channel, you did a 21-day complaining fast. I love it. And I'm going to do it because I mean, there's just so much negativity in this world today. And Slam and I don't bring on any of the news or Trump or any of that stuff on our podcast either. And I don't do it on here either. Like, there's a million other podcasts people can go to talk about all the negativity. But at my work because I'm the podcaster that has to have a full-time job because it's, I'm, got to pay bills.
Nothing wrong with that.
And, but and at work sometimes, like, there's a whole cycle that you get caught up on sometimes with negativity, and I'm trying to get out of that cycle. And whenever I did the research last night on you and seen this 21-day complain fast, I'm like, this is exactly what I need. How did you come up with this idea? I mean, I watch the videos, and so I know how you can, but tell my audience, like, how did you kind of come up with this idea to get rid of this negativity?
Yeah, it's one thing to say it's better to be positive than negative. And in the past, even when I started the show in 2012. I actually started the fast before the show in 2011. I think it was July 1st. It was July 1st, 2011. I'm on faculty at the Agape International Spiritual Center, founded by Michael Bernard Beckwith, who's one of the teachers from The Secret. And there was a woman that came on our stage, and her name was Edwene Gaines. And she said, if you want to reach transcendence on earth, then do not complain for 21 days.
Really?
And I went, love a challenge. So I have to give credit to her because she was the one that gave me the idea. So I then began to realize that you can say, just don't complain, but that's just really not possible. People need tools, right? I'm very results. I'm a, A+ personality, type personality, and high achievement orientation, recovering perfectionist, and control freak. So I have to know how. And they, at the time, they said that a habit was formed in 21 days. Now they say it's 28. Whatever. So that's why it's 21 days. And I thought, every day I'm going to try to come up with a way to replace complaints or what do I need to do to make it more likely to not complain. And then also I'm very competitive. It's not whether you win or lose, it's whether I win or lose.
Got it.
So I thought the component of the competition was you could go a day without complaining, and you had to try to string every single day on to see how many days you could get in a row. So that became the 21 day. And the first day is always the easiest day because you can complain, not that you're trying to complain, but it's a baseline day. So on an average, how many times do you complain? So you catch yourself that first day, and you don't have to start over at day one. You just continue, but you have now a baseline. So the next day is the day, however, where if you do complain, you go back to day one. So can you get to 21 consecutive days?
Love that.
Right? And if you can, I will double your money. So the investment is $21 at my website that goes to my nonprofit, A Ways to Happiness, that helps kids, teens, and young adults who have temporarily forgotten their birthright to happiness. That's where the money goes. If you make it the 21 days, I will ask for a witness and talk to them, because not that I don't trust you, but I don't trust you.
Yeah.
And then I will double your money. Now, this has been going on since 2011. How many people do you think have actually gone through and made it 21 days? And I want to say at least 15,000 people have gone through the fast officially.
Wow.
How many people do you think have completed the 21-day fast without complaining?
A much lower number than 15,000, I think.
Yes. How low?
I'd say 5,000.
5.
5? Really? Wow.
5.
Were you shocked about that?
Yeah. 1 man and 4 women.
Wow.
Eva, I'm going to forget names. Eva from Kentucky, Daia from Long Beach, and then I forget. I have great memory. My recall sucks.
Yeah.
But this is since 2011, so you have to cut me some break. I have not ran it officially in a while because I had an app that my daughter's high school friend built, and I paid him, but you have to keep updating, and I didn't have the time to do that. So I let the app go, which is kind of sad. So if you're an app maker and you want to be, part owner in this little venture, let me know, because it's really good, the app, because if you complain and you hit I complain, this baby cry comes
I kind of love that,
And then
actually.
if you make it a whole day without complaining, you get the
Yeah,
woohoo, right? So,
that's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
I also love your give people that are interested in maybe doing a podcast. So a podcast, I think a lot of people want to do it. Then they realize, oh, after one season or two episodes, they're like, oh, this is hard. It's hard coming up with guests and ideas, and there's a lot of time into it. And you don't make
And the
money from like,
marketing and the
oh,
branding
yes,
and
yes.
all the
You got to
producing itself.
invest in it and stuff. I love it though that you were open to giving people that chance to kind of come in and just take a shot to see if it's something they wanted to do. That is so amazing. Are you still doing that? Like letting people come on to you?
Not till I finished the world tour.
Okay.
So I don't know if you knew this. I hadn't decided the last time I was on with
Yeah, I
you.
don't know about the world tour, so tell me about this.
My mom just passed 2 weeks ago.
Oh, I'm so
And
sorry.
Canada, yes, and it's good. She is, loving us from that side. She's in my
Yeah.
heart forever, and we had a tremendous healing that happened a month before she passed. So it's amazing, and
Yeah.
I just did that show with my co-host James Hawthorne on Straight Talk. It's interesting. I have a series called Straight Talk, and both of my male co-hosts are men, gay.
Gay.
So gay men. So that's kind of straight
Yeah.
talk. So what happened was my tour got cut short with the book and my happy 88 mission, 88 million more happy people in the next 8 years. I was the last plane out of China before they started taking temperatures before COVID,
Wow.
November 2019. And for all reasons of what I've been doing, and also my bonus mom was sick this last year. And, I have not gone back on tour except for I did go to Australia last year and China to teach for another reason, but
Okay.
I did bring the book. And what I realized was I had already booked a teaching trip to Africa in August. I will be on Yuck Yuck stage in Toronto, as well as, I'm producing the Celebration of Life service for my mother and all the things you do when someone passes.
Yeah.
Plus work there. So there are people who have been asking me to speak that I have not had time to, because every time I go back to Canada, it is for my mother. So all of these things is a month in Canada, July,
Okay.
Africa, August, Hawaii, September, back here in October for the Newport Beach Film Festival, where I've been a sponsor for the past 8 years, and also the Catalina Jazz Festival, which again, I've covered for the last whatever years. November, Shanghai, and December, Taiwan.
Okay.
So I will be back in between countries for 5 days. I'm still broadcasting live.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Are you still going to do it wherever
still
you're at?
broadcasting live, with the exception of the time in Africa.
Okay.
I'm still playing with the idea of broadcasting live from Taiwan. I'm not sure about Shanghai because of the firewall, but Taiwan, it would be at 11 at night for your 8 in the morning.
Yeah.
So to answer that question, not right now.
I'm just trying to think, when do you sleep?
When I die.
Yeah, I think that's true. I mean, because
Yes, I sleep, the doctor says 7 or 8 hours.
yeah.
I will wake up in 5 hours no matter what.
Okay.
And I'm not going to force it. If I don't get 4 hours, I'm a little groggy, but 5 hours, I'm chipper. And so that gives me 3 extra hours a day that other people don't have.
Yeah.
So that's why I have 8 jobs.
Yeah. I mean, you're awesome at that. I mean, I respect it so much.
Juice my life. I literally know this is the most important thing. Hopefully you'll walk away with, if you're listening right now, is time is not money. Time is a non-renewable energy.
Mm-hmm.
And once you have let that pass with whatever you're doing or not doing, it's gone. No do-overs.
Yeah.
Can't get it back. So for me, every single day, that expression, you live like it's your last day, I do, not for the morbid part of it, but obviously because I want to juice and
Yeah.
wring out every possible beautiful experience that I can have in this life while I'm in this body.
Yeah.
Where I'm going is love. We all go to love. We all come from love. It's a beautiful place. There's no gnashing of teeth. There's no, sadness. There's no pain.
Yeah.
However, there is also no tactile stimulation. So I can't taste the deliciousness of food over there.
Yeah.
I can do that here.
Yeah.
So you better believe that everything I put in my mouth, I better really like and enjoy and be one with that taste. If I'm talking or writing or playing games or MS, meaningless scrolling while I'm eating, I just missed out on that experience.
Yeah.
So being one with where you are is not for any other reason than really enjoying your life.
And you're such a advocate or ally for the LGBTQ community. Like, did you grow up with gay friends or gay culture? Like, how did that all happen? Because like the gays love you.
Thank you. And I almost don't want to tell this story because the gays love me. I grew up in a very small town in Ontario, Canada, and there were the only diversity that I grew up with was one Japanese family, one Chinese family, mine, one Black family, and one Indian family. No Mexican families. Largest German community outside of Germany. So I spoke German at the same time that I learned how to speak English.
Wow.
Shocked my friends' parents when I came to the door. Sprach Deutsch. And I marched in the Oktoberfest parade. From the time I was little. Had to wear lederhosen and no boobs until I had boobs to wear a dirndl. So when I came to California, I was ignorant, and Mexican food is really big here. I don't like beans. I'm allergic to cilantro. That was tough.
Yeah.
Right. But what was tougher was the difference in LGBTQA+. I could not wrap my head around it. Also brought up in a huge evangelical Southern Baptist precursor to atheism religion that was very against. And so I was in grad school, and I'm so embarrassed about this, and I will ask for forgiveness, but
I don't think
this
you need
is my
to,
12% imperfect step in it stuff. So they were giving the statistics of the graduate school, and they were saying, how many men, how many women? And I said, well, but how many of them are real men? So the one lesbian in the group, who will remain nameless, immediately hated me. My best friend, who I had no clue was gay, Michael, who's on the other side, he passed from AIDS, but he was the most incredible person and loved me so much that he put his arm around me as we were crossing the very busy Beverly Boulevard and 6th, and said to me, I'm gay. Because I had a crush on him because he's so hot.
Yeah.
And I almost got run over because I stopped in the middle of the road. He kept going. And he began at that point to educate me.
Awesome.
And I had to go and apologize to her. And that began my valuing so close. And I've been making up for it. And I love diversity. I love the way that we all are one of a kind, wonderful in all of the diversity we have, that we all have similarities if we're part of a group called stereotypes, but they are real group differences. The difference between stereotype and discrimination is making that difference bad or wrong.
Yeah. Okay. I'll just say, as if coming from the gay community, I think you've made up for it, and you don't have to keep doing it because we all love you. And so I think you paid your debt in time. So
Thank
just
you.
giving you the pass.
Thank you.
One of the other things I wanted to just ask you about is, I know your ex-husband really influenced a lot of things that happened and really
My husband.
husband. I loved that expression from our last interview. Tell this audience about how he really did kind of like,
Oh,
I feel like he pushed you forward in a lot of
yes.
ways.
Yes. I think everyone who is a pain in your shell as a person,
Yeah.
the analogy I love to use is the grain of sand in an oyster is so irritating that the oyster coats it with salve, and that salve becomes the pearl.
Yep.
So my husband and my mother were giant pieces of sand in my shell, and the beautiful pearls that I have created as a direct result of their corners and their irritating texture, I really could thank them for that. And on certain days I do.
Yeah.
But when they're being themselves, it's a little bit difficult. But I will, as an aside, that I can't say on my show, I used to use this analogy all the time, but I would say they're pearl makers, and I just got a pearl necklace from my husband, and someone told me what that was because I didn't know.
How many times did you say that before you realized what it was?
Sweetheart, you have no idea how much trouble I have been in because of my naivete, because I grew up so strict in that church that I literally, I didn't have a radio until I was 18. I didn't go to a movie until I was 21.
Was there no dancing either or anything then?
Yeah. So needless to say, that pearl necklace went right over. Did I tell you the story about when I had a regular series called Sexual Healing with Dr. Marissa for myself?
No, tell me that.
Because I every last week of the month, because I was brought up. So the very first time was a horrific time. I thought sex meant you were going to get married. And my first said to me, "Oh, no, haven't you ever heard of casual sex?" And I said no. And he goes, "Welcome to college."
Oh.
So another pearl.
Yeah.
But what happened was on my sexual healing, I had been hearing about, these alternative lifestyles. Yeah. And so I had the guy come on and he said, "Yes, I'm into polyamorism." And I go, "Oh yeah, that's my middle name." And my station owner's like,
no.
I go, no, I'm called Pollyanna. That's my middle name. He goes, so I learned what polyamorism was, that it is not Pollyanna that day on the show. So yes, exactly. I'm very behind.
Yeah.
In that. So there's something else I was going to say on that. What were we talking about before?
We were just talking about how your husband kind of influenced.
Oh, my husband.
Yeah,
my husband.
How he pushed you.
He was my bro. Okay, so if you've had childhood trauma, it is very common to pick mates who you're trying to fix that trauma.
Yeah.
So in my case, my mom never said, "You're beautiful," never said, "Oh, how pretty you are." She said, "You're fat, you're ugly, and you're clumsy." That's negative motivation, tiger mom on steroids. And she did that because that was the best that she could do. And I was telling you about the healing that happened.
Yeah.
It really dawned on me a month before she passed that she really did love me in the only way that she could.
Yeah.
And it was such a release. OMG. It is the best thing. If you want to come do some work with me, I am so on fire for this topic right now because I had cleared out like 88% of the resentment, but I still had that little bit.
Yeah.
And man, I have a great life. I love my life, but now I am going up. Hashtag UP unlimited possibilities, because I do know this is what I'm supposed to talk about, that what you do for yourself.
Yeah.
But anyways, going back to my husband. So I picked a man who did not find me attractive, who did not desire me and my body. Okay.
Really?
So I perpetrated the feeling that I had, being fat, right? That's not attractive. I dropped 40 pounds in high school to begin modeling, to show my mom, and won some, all that awards and stuff to show her that I was attractive. And negative motivation to prove someone wrong is not the best way to prove that you're okay, because you're angry, right?
Yes.
So I picked a man who would introduce me as obese behind my back to other people, and they would come and say, "You're not obese." So, and he did not want to have sex with me after the first child. Actually,